officially 8 days from the NFL season. We are officially 8 days from the NFL season. Let me see it for you one more time. We are officially 8 days from the NFL season. And with that being said, we all love our respective teams. We all love the Chiefs. We all love the Raiders. We all love the Rams. We all love the Falcons. We all love the Lions. We all love our teams. So when we say we love our teams, I respect you. I want you to love your team. I want you to root for your team. I want you to think that your team is going to go to the Super Bowl. Now, there are always realistic expectations, right? Realistically, the Panthers are not going to go to the Super Bowl. Realistically, the Giants may not even make to the playoffs. Realistically, the Patriots are our first overall pick. But that doesn't mean you cannot love your team. And now, when I say love your team, I want you to root for your team. I want you to be loud and be proud about your team. But do not hate me for loving my team, right? Do not hate me for loving the Kansas City Chiefs. Do not hate me for rooting for the Dallas Cowboys. Do not hate me because I love my team. I want you to love your team. I do. I want you to love your team, but I don't want you to hate me for loving my team either. So let's have a great NFL season. 2024 NFL season is 8 days away, like I said. We are 8 days away. So don't hate it. Jim, I hate you too. But don't hate your team because I love your team. ELE, everybody love everybody. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation.
Yeah.
Rise up.
Yeah. Hey, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw. Steady bringing that sauce. We about to take off. Get it hype, this man, our sport talk. Yeah, yeah. From the quarterback to the lineman, everybody bringing heat. You don't really wanna try them. Hey, hey, who gon' win? It's a battle of the giants. This show is the flyest. Nobody can deny it. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception?
Let's go. What is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckhouse with the Man Hour shirt at manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page or check out the blog section as well. But most importantly, hit that like button. Today, right now, hit that like button and share it with a couple friends because sharing is caring at the end of the day. It is Buy or Sell Wednesday here, guys. So we got to talk about 4 topics here. We're going to buy them, we love them, or we're going to sell them, get them out of here as fast as we can. We do not want that in our house. Speaking of wanting in our house, we got Jim Powell in my house. He says, I hate the Kansas City Chiefs. Jim don't dislike them. He hates the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, guess what, Jim? 2-0, baby, this year. 2-0. Let's go. But we also got a pigskin punny in the house as well, along as Jim. We got Casey Morgan in the chat as well. Did you see that the Chiefs picked up Zappy for their practice squad? Casey, I saw that you inboxed me, but my wife has my phone. She's getting ready to check us in for haircuts here as soon as the show is over. So I did not see that, but that's a pretty good pickup. Pretty good pickup. Third year player, right? From Western Kentucky, Mr. Hilltopper himself. I believe he has the highest yardage ever in NCAA history or whatever. I know he had a pretty lucrative college career. Kind of got the short end of the stick here a little bit in the pros, but it's a good pickup for the Kansas City Chiefs. I do like some Bailey Zappi. I was kind of really shocked that the Patriots actually let him go, but good pickup for the Kansas City Chiefs. So welcome to the show, Casey. Welcome. Hope you're having a grand old day. We got Laura Hedrick in the chat as well. Laura Johnson Hedrick. LJH is in the house. She says, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, madam, as well. Hope you're having a grand old day. And Laura says, I am with Jim. I am with Jim. I cannot stand the Kansas City Chiefs. Lucky for you, Laura, we'll be talking about the Kansas City Chiefs last segment of today's show. We're going to talk about Mr. MVP himself, and that is Patrick Mahomes. We got to talk about Patrick Mahomes and MVP level status. We got Danny Hawker in the chat tonight as well. He says, please, bro, slow it down. Dallas isn't it. They have no upgrades at all. You are wet behind the ears. Number 15 can't even run a 40-yard dash. Whoa. Put those pew-pews away, Danny. Slow it down, baby. But damn. This man is fired up about the Dallas Cowboys. He says the Dallas Cowboys suck. Danny flat out said the Dallas Cowboys are no good, up in here. But that's exactly who we're going to start the show off with, guys. We're going to start today's show off with the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott's potential contract. Now, the reason we are talking about Dak Prescott in this contract situation is because CeeDee Lamb come out and said that, you know what? I got paid. I got my dollar bills, yo. But Dak Prescott is going to be the next guy to get paid. And I think he will get paid. Actually, I believe he said, I know he will get paid. So, guys, we got to ask the question, buy or sell, is Dak Prescott the future quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys? Obviously, he is the current quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. He's on the last year of his contract, but really no headway has been made as far as contract negotiations go. Right now, Dak Prescott has a $55.5 million cap hit this season, and is looking to go up. Dak Prescott will be the highest paid quarterback if he decides to test free agency this offseason. But, the big but here is, guys, I think the Dallas Cowboys are all in on Dak Prescott, to be honest. I think the Dallas Cowboys are all in on Dak Prescott, to be honest. They did not draft a quarterback this year. They had the opportunities. They decided to move past. They're like, nope, Dak Prescott is their guy. We have Cooper Rush still. We have Trey Lance, which they traded for last season to bring in. They did not pick up a quarterback. So this tells me one of two things. Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys front office, Stephen Jones and the rest of the crew there, thinks that Dak Prescott is their guy, or they have a quarterback on their team right now that can lead them into the future, lead them into the playoffs, lead them into the Super Bowl, baby. Is it Dak Prescott? Is it Cooper Rush? Is it Trey Lance? It's got to be one of those three, right? It's got to be one of those three. Granted, next year we still have a draft still to come. We got free agency next offseason as well, but let's just think hypothetically here. Let's think positive. Let's think positive. But if Dak Prescott were to hit free agency, like Kirk Cousins did, like Aaron Rodgers did, like some other notable quarterbacks have done in the past, Matthew Stafford, right? Matt Ryan, he will become the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean he is the best quarterback in the NFL. Dak Prescott is definitely a top 5 quarterback, but he's definitely not the best quarterback in the NFL. But he will be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. We're looking at the northwards of $60 to $62 to $63 million that I've been hearing that teams are going to be willing to pay this guy. And when we look around the league, what other teams could be using a quarterback next season? You got the Pittsburgh Steelers that could be potentially using a quarterback or need a quarterback. We got the New York Jets that could potentially need a quarterback. The New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles, or the Las Vegas Raiders. 5 to 6 teams out there that could really use the services of Dak Prescott. So, guys, buy or sell, does Dak Prescott stay in Dallas and is the future quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys? I am going to buy this. I'm going to buy this because when you look across the league right now, the Dallas Cowboys are built to win a lot of games right now. They have their offense locked up. The only weak point of the Dallas Cowboys offense is the tailback situation, and Zeke has shown that he can be the guy. Will he be the guy? Probably not. They're going to have a nice 1-2 punch there in the backfield. They're either going to pick up Dalvin Cook or somebody to that magnitude, right, to give a nice little 1-2 punch in the backfield. The defense is set up to win a lot of games this season, right? The defense is young, they're good, and they're stingy. Brand new Mike Zimmer defense. We're going to see what's going to happen, guys. The Dallas Cowboys have an opportunity to be really, really good for a really, really long time. But the real question is Dak Prescott in it to win, or is he in it for the money? Dak Prescott has already come out and said that he is willing to stay in Dallas for a hometown discount. He is willing to stay in Dallas and keep the core together. He is willing to make less than everybody else to win a lot of football games. So I am buying, 100% buying, that Dak Prescott will be a Dallas Cowboy for this year and beyond. I am buying that Dak Prescott is the man, the myth, the legend in Dallas for at least 6 to 7 to 8 more years. He's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere, and that's exactly what Laura says. She says he is going to stay. Forget about the money. Forget about all the BS talk. Forget about you can go to New York and you become a legend. You go to Las Vegas, you become a legend. You go to Seattle, you become a legend. You go to Minnesota, you become a legend. You go to any of those teams, you are instantly in the top 5 quarterback conversation week after week, year after year. Right now, you're not in that conversation because you're a Dallas Cowboy. Let's just be flat out honest. The reason why Dak Prescott's not in the top 5 conversation for most people is because he's a Dallas Cowboy. Dallas Cowboy hate is real. It is what it is. But I'm with Laura. I think he is going to stay. And she says, I'm loving that K-State hat, by the way. Listen, I get a bunch of K-State merch every year. Every football season, our coach reached out to me like, hey, let me see some stuff. Got it. Hoodies, T-shirts, hats. Just got some slides. Check it out. If you want something, Laura, I can hook you up. Slide into the DMs and I'll hook you up. Casey says, if Dak is a free agent, he will be a Raider or a Viking. So, obviously, we've talked about the Raiders extensively with Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott to the Raiders have been beaten raw. We've been beating that dead horse for a long, long, long time. Many experts think that. Many fans want that. Why do they want that? If Dak Prescott's not a top 5 quarterback, because he is a top 5 quarterback. Now to the Vikings. That is a reach. That is a reach because they did not decide to go after a quarterback after J.J. McCarthy went down for the season-ending knee operation. They decided to not go and kind of backfill that guy, right? They were happy with the quarterbacks that they had on their roster. They were happy with their potential future in Minnesota. We'll be talking about the Minnesota Vikings coming up here in segment number 3. Question number 3, I should say. But if Dak Prescott were to go to the Vikings, I would foresee that J.J. McCarthy would become a Dallas Cowboy, or there would be some type of in-season transaction to where the Dallas Cowboys get a little bit of benefit and the Vikings get a little bit of benefit as well. Because when you bring in Dak Prescott making $65 million a season, right? Then you have J.J. McCarthy sit on the bench thinking, well, why'd you draft me for? Why would I come to Minnesota and be happy and not demand a trade if I'm just going to sit for 5, 6, 7, 8 years? Guys, Dak Prescott's still in his prime. Dak Prescott has a lot of playing life left in him. So if that were to happen, Casey, I would be scratching my head big time like, Minnesota, what are y'all doing, to be honest? Because I think J.J. McCarthy is that future in Minnesota. And I just don't foresee it happening. Laura says, I thought Dallas already got Dalvin Cook. Let me look it up. Looks like they did. My mistake. I need to catch up on my news here. I did not realize that they signed Dalvin Cook. Me and Case were actually talking about fantasy, 3 days ago, through a chat. I'm like, hey, pick up Dalvin Cook. I think he's going to have a good season. He's going to be picked up by somebody. All right. Dallas Cowboys making moves. Dalvin Cook to the Dallas Cowboys. I like it. Behind Rico Dunwilly. Laura says, Dak to the Vikings. No. We don't want no Dak Prescott. We don't want no Brad Todd. She also says, it's Minnesota. You'll never know what we'll get. The Minnesota Vikings are a team that makes you kind of want to like scratch your head sometimes, right? The Minnesota Vikings are a team you're kind of like, really? So let's talk about the Minnesota Vikings. Let's talk about those Minnesota Vikings, Laura. Let's talk about your Minnesota Vikings, Laura. Last season, guys, the Minnesota Vikings were a team that after Kirk Cousins went down, week 8, a lot of people kind of just wrote them off, right? A lot of people kind of just like, Kirk Cousins is gone. Get out of here, right? Guys, the Minnesota Vikings were a team that were battling for a playoff position all the way up to week 18, right? Granted, they did finish the season 7-10, but they were battling, right? They were battling. All they had to do was win one or two of their last 4 versus the Lions. Who else did they play? The Bengals or the Packers, and they would have snuck into the playoffs. They would have backdoored their way into the playoffs last season with the third-string quarterback in Nick Mullins. Mr. Astronaut Guy provided them a little bit of spark for about 3 weeks. He sucked it up, and then insert Nick Mullins. He was terrible. But, guys, buy or sell, will the Minnesota Vikings shock people in the NFC North this season? When I was first proposed this question, I'm like, there is no freaking way the Minnesota Vikings are going to be worth a darn this season. There is no freaking way. When we did our schedule breakdown, I think I had them like at 5 or 6 wins. Very, very long season for them, I thought, right? I thought by their bye week was like week 6 or week 7. I thought by that particular point, they were going to insert J.J. McCarthy and they might win a couple games. Simple fact of the matter is J.J. McCarthy's out. Sam Darnold is the guy for the whole season. But when I was proposed this question, I was like, damn, you know what? Let me think about this. Let me think about this logically. Yes, this offseason they lost Kirk Cousins to free agency. He ultimately colluded with the Falcons and he got out of town. They picked up Sam Darnold to be their default starting quarterback, basically was in there as a place gap to get J.J. McCarthy ready or their draft pick ready to become that guy. They picked up Aaron Jones this offseason as well. And then Justin Jefferson should be 100% this season, right? Yes, last season he was dealing with that knee injury and hamstring injury all season long. He should be ready to go, should be 100%. However, TJ Hawkinson is on the PUP list now. He's out for 4 games minimum, should be back by week 5. We don't know what's going on with Jordan Addison. Is he going to end up in jail? Is he going to be suspended? Kind of up in the air at that point, but as of right now, he's on the team. He should be productive. But then we look on the defensive side of the ball. They did lose Danielle Hunter, a very prolific pass rusher, a very silent assassin type of thing, right? You can never really see him on the TV, and then you look at the stats like, man, this guy had three sacks and 10 tackles. Where did those come from? He was just a very silent assassin killer. But to replace Danielle Hunter, they picked up Greenard from Houston last season, which had a career high of 12.5 sacks with 52 tackles. They pick up Tenderly for defensive end from the Raiders, 31 tackles with 2 sacks this season. And they also signed Stephon Gilmore just last week. So guys, buy or sell, will the Minnesota Vikings shock people this season in the NFC North? Despite losing Kirk Cousins last season, guys, they still went 7-10. Yes, they lost their last 4 in a row. All they had to do was win 1 or 2 of those games, and they would have got into the playoffs. But really, when you look at the roster, look at their schedule, right? The schedules are pretty favorable. They play the Giants. They play the Jets. Trash, right? They play the Jaguars. They play the Bears. They play the Cardinals. They play the Falcons, the Seahawks. Pretty favorable schedule. All they need is decent quarterback play. Sam Darnold is not terrible. He's not great, but he's not terrible. Guys, it would not shock me one bit if the Minnesota Vikings did come out and started hot. It would not shock me if they beat the Giants week 1. It would not shock me if they beat the San Francisco 49ers week 2, minus Brandon Ayuk. It would not shock me if they snuck up and beat the Houston Texans in the ass. Starting off 3-0. Momentum, right? Momentum is a powerful tool in the NFL. Then you go to Green Bay. Might get nipped in the butt there. But then you play the Jets at home. That's it's not at home. It's over the freaking pond game. But the Jets play horrible over the pond. Guys, it would not shock me one bit if the Minnesota Vikings, we look at them week 15, week 14. They're sitting at 6 wins. They're sitting in ninth place in the playoffs. They're getting ready to buy themselves into the playoffs. Guys, I'm going to buy. After all the shit I talked about the Minnesota Vikings a few weeks ago when we broke them down, revisiting their schedule, revisiting their roster, watching the last 2 preseason games that they had minus J.J. McCarthy. Guys, the Vikings are going to shock some people this season. The Vikings are going to be a team that is going to sneak up on you, and they're going to bite you in the ass. San Francisco 49ers is going to be one of those teams, I think. The Green Bay Packers might be one of those teams late in the season. The Chicago Bears, they're all high and mighty, already crowned those guys. They're going to come up bite you in the ass. Now, I don't think they'll make a deep run in the playoffs. I do not think they're a Super Bowl caliber team. Hell, I don't think they are a division winner. But I could see themselves backing their door, back weighing their into the playoffs. Guys, buy some Minnesota Vikings. Buy. Guys, buy or sell. Are you buying the Minnesota Vikings this season? Are they going to shock some people? John's in the chat, and he says sell. He does not want anything near the Minnesota Vikings. Sell. Spoiler alert, John is a Detroit Lions fans. Detroit Lions fans for John, so he's definitely scared of some Minnesota Vikings. Laura says buy for sure. Buckle up because it's going to be a wild ride, she says. It might be a roller coaster of the season. Going to be some highs, going to be some lows. I think the highs are going to start off early. Win over the Giants. Win over the San Francisco 49ers. If they start 3-0, we're going to start hearing some chatter about the Minnesota Vikings. We're going to start hearing some Minnesota Vikings. Laura says, we will drop off in the first round of the playoffs, but that's how the skull runs around here. True. True. Casey says, I say they go 500, but they do not make the playoffs. So let me ask you this, Casey. People in the chat over at Facebook.com, of course, YouTube.com/manhour. Earlier this offseason, back, I believe it was right around July 4th is when we broke down the NFC North. I had the Minnesota Vikings at about a 5-6 team. Not very good. So let's say they do finish with 8, 9, 10 wins this season. You can call that around the 500 mark, 8 or 9 wins, right? Would that shock you? Would that shock the people out there in the chat if the Minnesota Vikings finish with 8 or 9 or possibly 10 wins this season? Would that shock you? That's the better question. Would that shock you? So, guys, buy or sell. Are the Minnesota Vikings going to shock the NFC North by winning some games? Next up here, guys, on the buy or sell. Buy or sell is very, very simple, guys. Be sure to play along in the chat below. If you buy it, you want it. I want that. I want that to happen. I love it. Or if you're going to sell, you're like, get that out of here. I don't trust it. I don't want it. Sell, sell, sell. See you later. So, guys, buy or sell, buy or sell, buy or sell. Next up on the buy or sell is old Josh Allen. The old Josh Allen. I was reading an article today while I was in training that ESPN polled 100 players in the NFL. I don't know if it was random players. I don't know if it was starters, backups, or whatever. They said they randomly polled 100 players in the NFL. And that poll came out that the players thought Josh Allen was the most overrated player in the NFL, quarterback-wise. He was the most overrated quarterback. So, guys, buy or sell, is Josh Allen the most overrated quarterback in the NFL? When we look at Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, we see a lot of what ifs, right? What if Stephon Diggs caught that ball last season? What if they didn't play Patrick Mahomes in the AFC Championship game? What if they would have done this or this to their thing? It is a lot of what ifs, right? Josh Allen has never been to an AFC Championship game, guys. He has never played an AFC Championship game in a 6-year career in the NFL. He has no MVPs. His best season, right, was 2020 when he finished second in the MVP voting. Josh Allen is 5-5 in the playoffs. He also only has a 62% career completion percentage. He also has damn near 80 interceptions in just 6 seasons. He averages double-digit interceptions every single year. So buy or sell, is Josh Allen the most overrated quarterback in the NFL? Guys, this is a sell. This is a sell. For all those players out there that are voting Josh Allen as the most overrated player, what are you guys thinking? What are you guys thinking? Josh Allen is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He is number 2 on my list going into the 2024 NFL season. I think he'll finish number 1 this season, to be honest. I think Josh Allen is the man, the myth, the legend on the football field. He is a true dual threat quarterback. When you look at his passing stats, he has a success rate of 50%. A success rate of 50%. What is a success rate? A success rate is if you gain at least 40% of the yards on first down. So when it's 1st and 10, 1st and 15, whatever, if you cover 40% of those yards on that first down play, that is considered a successful play. It is 60% on second down and 100% on 3rd/4th down. He has a success rate of 50%. That is 3rd in the NFL over his career, behind Matthew Stafford and Patrick Mahomes. His QBR, 92.2%. 92.2%. That is 5th in his NFL career over the last 6 seasons. Behind who? Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson, Matthew Stafford. He averages just over 250 yards passing per game. That is 2nd in the NFL, behind Patrick Mahomes. Now let's look at his rushing stats. He has a 60% successful rate when he rushes the ball. Once again, what is a success rate? 40% of the yards gained on first down. So 1st and 10, if he gains 4 yards, that is a first down, or that is a successful play. If it's 1st and 20 and he gains 8 yards, that is a successful play. 60% success rate. He averages over 40 yards per game rushing as a quarterback. But most importantly, he averages 5.5 yards a carry. Guys, Josh Allen is one of the most dangerous quarterbacks on the NFL field. He is one of the most dangerous quarterbacks on the NFL field. He is a true dual threat quarterback. He can beat you with your legs. He can beat you inside the pocket. He can run the RPO. He can run the naked boot. Hell, he could probably play defense and probably averages 3 interceptions a season. Josh Allen is the real deal. So, guys, buy or sell. Is Josh Allen the most overrated quarterback in the NFL? I have to sell that. I have to sell that. There's no question in my mind. We got Pepe in the chat. Pepe. I'm finally back over there on YouTube. No more being banned on YouTube. This is our first day back, and Pepe says, nope, Josh Allen is solid. He is solid. Let me ask you this. Name me one player that wants to meet Josh Allen in the open field heads up. Give me one player. I don't care if it's Patrick Queen. I don't care if it's Ray Lewis. I don't care if it's Ed Reed, whoever. Head-to-head in open field, Josh Allen versus said defender, give me Josh Allen. You don't know if he's going to truck you. You don't know if he's going to juke you. You don't know if he's going to hurdle you. Hell, he just might outrun you to the sideline. He's pretty quick for a big old 6'6", 6'7" dude. He's a baller. Pepe says sell. Sell that. John also says sell. He says Patrick Mahomes is the most overrated quarterback in the NFL. What? What? Pepe says he'd rather have Josh Allen in the playoffs than Lamar Jackson. This is 100% facts. We talked about Lamar Jackson's stats in the postseason last week, right? He is 2-4 in the playoffs. He has below 50% completion percentage. He has 9 touchdowns to nine interceptions / fumbles, 9 turnovers. Josh Allen does not. Granted, he is 5-5 in the playoffs. It's still not a losing record. He is 0-3 versus Mahomes, so I guess there's that for him, right? And Pepe says he had 13 seconds from beating Patrick Mahomes. Lamar Jackson can't say that. Listen, Josh Allen had 2 opportunities to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, right? 13 seconds. That was a hell of a drive. We have to give it up to the Kansas City Chiefs. And then last season when Diggs just flat out dropped the ball. Hell, I think it hit him in the chest. Both hands in the chest, and he dropped it. If those 2 things do not happen, we are probably talking about the Buffalo Bills as a 2-time Super Bowl championship here. We are probably talking about Josh Allen as one of the greatest quarterbacks, if not the greatest quarterback in the NFL. We are probably talking MVP Josh Allen. Super Bowl winning MVP Josh Allen. But the fact that 13 seconds happened, and the fact that Stephon Diggs cannot catch a ball in the snow or the cold or whatever you want to call it, he's 0-3 versus Patrick Mahomes and 5-5 in the playoffs. That's how I see it. Get out of here, bug. And John says, yeah. So, but Patrick Mahomes is still overrated. Patrick Mahomes is still overrated. John, let me ask you this. How is Patrick Mahomes overrated? How is Patrick Mahomes truly overrated? We got a couple minutes before I got to go here and get the kiddos off the bus. This is the last week of getting them off the bus. The wife will be back home and doing her duties. Somebody tries to call me. Buy or sell, guys. Will Patrick Mahomes win the MVP this season? I don't have any stats. I don't have any analytics. It's a question for John. It's a question for the people in the chat. When you look at MVPs this season, is Patrick Mahomes your front runner? Are you buying that Patrick Mahomes is the front runner of the MVP this season? I have to buy it. The receiving core looks great. Still got Travis Kelce. Still got Pacheco. Still got Andy Reid. Still has that great system. That's right. I said system. Buy or sell, guys. Patrick Mahomes, MVP. Let me know. Laura says Diggs became washed when he left Minnesota. I wouldn't call him washed up. He definitely had some good games, good seasons in Buffalo. I wouldn't say washed up. John says no MVP for Patrick Mahomes. No way, Jose. Listen, Patrick Mahomes might win the MVP and the Super Bowl MVP this season. When was the last time that his MVP and a Super Bowl MVP happened? Was it Kurt Warner? Well, like in 99 or 2000? Probably. Laura says sell only because I'm not a fan of him or his team. Laura, take your fandom out of it. He's the best quarterback in the NFL. John says, sell that shit somewhere else. Sheesh. And Pepe's got the comment of the day. Everybody sit here and look at Pepe's comment. He says sell. He says sell because the jealousy is too real. I think Patrick Mahomes will win the MVP. And Pepe, I think you're right. I think you are 100% right. Because a MVP in the NFL right now is the best quarterback on the best team. Let's just call a spade a spade. It's really not an MVP award. It is the best quarterback on the best team award. That's what it comes down to. And right now, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback on the best team. Last year, he was not. The year before that, suspect, right? But this year, he will be the best quarterback on the best team. Simple as that. But guys, that is it for today. Man Hour NFL Talk is back here on YouTube. No more banned, live, raw, uncut sports talk, guys. Every Monday through Friday, 2:30 East Coast time, and starting next Saturday, Man Hour After Dark, 9 p.m. East Coast time. Join us Saturday nights, guys. Until then, see you tomorrow. I'm out.